The coins shown in the image are two United States 1-cent coins from the year 1975, commonly known as Lincoln cents or Lincoln pennies. The obverse front of each coin features the profile portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, facing right. Above Lincoln's head appears the national motto, "In God We Trust," which has been a standard feature on all U.S. coins since 1956. To the left of Lincoln is the word liberty, symbolizing one of the nation's core values. To the right is the date 1975, representing the year the coin was minted. On one of the coins, a small D mint mark is visible just below the date, signifying that it was struck at the Denver Mint in Colorado, while the other coin without a mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. These two mints, along with the San Francisco Mint, which did not produce regular circulation cents in 1975, were responsible for the production of billions of Lincoln cents during that decade. The reverse back of the 1975 Lincoln cent, not shown in the image, features the Lincoln Memorial, which had been the reverse design since 1959 when it replaced the original wheat ear design used from 1909 to 1958. The memorial design, created by Frank Asparo, depicts the neoclassical monument dedicated to Abraham Lincoln in Washington, D.C. The inscriptions on the reverse include United States of America at the top, the national motto, E pluribus unum, Latin for out of many, one, above the Lincoln Memorial, and the denomination 1 cent at the bottom. A small image of Lincoln can actually be seen seated inside the memorial when viewed under magnification, a subtle tribute to the president himself. The 1975 Lincoln cent is composed primarily of 95% copper and 5% zinc, which was the standard composition for U.S. 1-cent coins from 1909 until mid-1982, when rising copper prices led to a change to a mostly zinc composition. Each coin weighs 3.11 grams, has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, and features a smooth edge. The coin's design is the work of Victor David Brenner, whose initials VDB appear on the shoulder truncation of Lincoln's bust. Brenner originally designed the coin in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, making it the first U.S. circulating coin to feature a real historical figure rather than an allegorical representation of liberty. In terms of mintage and production, over 5.4 billion Lincoln cents were struck in 1975 between the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with Philadelphia producing approximately 5.4 billion coins and Denver striking about 4.5 billion. These high numbers make the 1975 cent a common coin, widely circulated throughout the United States. Because of the large mintage, most examples found today hold only face value, 1 cent, if circulated. However, uncirculated or proof specimens in exceptional condition can hold a small premium to collectors, especially those with vibrant original luster, sharp details, and minimal surface marks. A 1975 D-cent in mint state, MS, condition can be worth around 10 cents to $1, while pristine examples graded MS-67 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can command prices upwards of $30 to $50. Collectors sometimes seek out error varieties or die anomalies from the 1975 series. Examples include off-center strikes, double die obverse, and planchet errors where the coin was struck on an incorrect metal blink. These minting errors can significantly increase the coin's value, sometimes ranging from a few dollars to several hundred depending on rarity and visibility of the error. However, no major recognized double die or rare variation is officially documented for the 1975 Lincoln cent, unlike some earlier years such as 1955 or 1972, which are famous for their prominent doubling. Historically, the 1970s Lincoln cents occupy a fascinating era in American numismatic history. The decade was marked by economic challenges, including inflation and fluctuating metal prices, leading the U.S. Mint to monitor the cost of copper closely. The Lincoln Memorial reverse design, still in use in 1975, symbolized national unity and continuity amid changing times. These coins also circulated during the administration of President Gerald Ford, a period remembered for efforts to restore trust in government following the Watergate scandal. In daily life, the 1-cent coin remained a staple of small transactions, though inflation had already begun to erode its purchasing power. In summary, the 1975 and 1975 D. Lincoln cents are classic representations of mid-20th century American coinage, abundant, practical, and rich in historical symbolism. While not rare in the numismatic sense, they remain meaningful to collectors for their connection to the enduring Lincoln series, one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history. Each coin reflects over a century of tradition and artistry that began in 1909 and continued until 2008, when the Lincoln Memorial Reverse was replaced by a new design honoring Lincoln's bicentennial. Today, these 1975 cents serve not only as everyday tokens of commerce, but also as small bronze witnesses to the history, economy, and ideals of the United States during the next top. The 1976 United States 1-cent coin, commonly known as the Lincoln Memorial Cent, represents one of the most iconic and historically rich small-denomination coins in American numismatics. It was part of a long-running coin series first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, marking the first time a real person, rather than a symbolic figure, was featured on a regular U.S. coin. The coin shown in the image is from 1976, a significant year in American history, as it coincided with the nation's bicentennial celebration, marking 200 years since the Declaration of Independence in 1776. Although the cent itself did not receive a special bicentennial design like the quarter, half-dollar, and dollar coins, it was still widely circulated during this patriotic period, and its presence connects it indirectly to the broader spirit of commemoration that characterized 1976 in U.S. coinage and culture. The obverse front of the 1976 Lincoln cent features the right-facing portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, whose initials VDB appear on the reverse side of coins minted after 1918. Above Lincoln's head is the national motto, "In God We Trust," a phrase that first appeared on the Lincoln cent in 1909 and has become a consistent element of U.S. coinage ever since. To the left of Lincoln's profile is the word liberty, symbolizing one of the founding principles of the nation, and to the right is the date 1976, which may be accompanied by a small mint mark under the date, either D for the Denver Mint or no mint mark for the Philadelphia Mint. The coin on the left in the image bears a small d, indicating it was struck in Denver, while the one on the right was likely minted in Philadelphia. This distinction is important for collectors, as mint marks often influence rarity, production quantity, and minor differences in die quality. The reverse back of the coin, which is not visible in the image but forms an essential part of its story, displays the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This replaced the earlier wheat ears, reverse used from 1909 to 1958. Designed by Frank Gasparo, the memorial reverse features a detailed depiction of the neoclassical structure in Washington, D.C., with the legend, United States of America, curving along the top edge, the national motto, E pluribus unum, out of many, one, just above the building, and the denomination 1 cent inscribed boldly along the bottom. A remarkable detail of this design, visible under magnification, is the tiny seated figure of Lincoln inside the memorial, symbolizing continuity between the coin's obverse and reverse portraits and creating a sense of unity between design and meaning. This subtle feature makes the Lincoln Memorial Cent unique among U.S. coinage, as it portrays the same individual on both sides of the coin. In terms of physical composition, the 1976 1-cent coin was made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, weighing approximately 3.11 grams and measuring 19.05 millimeters in diameter. This traditional bronze composition had been standard for Lincoln cents since 1909, except during World War II, when the mint briefly used zinc-coated steel in 1943 to conserve copper for wartime use. By 1976, the U.S. Mint was still producing copper cents, though rising metal prices in subsequent years would eventually lead to the 1982 transition to copper-plated zinc cents, reducing both cost and weight. Thus, the 1976 copper cent represents one of the last full bronze issues of the 20th century before this significant metallurgical shift. Numismatically, the 1976 Lincoln cent is considered a common circulation coin, with billions minted across both Philadelphia and Denver. However, for collectors, value and interest often depend on factors such as condition, mint mark, die variety, and the presence of any minting errors. Examples with strong original luster, minimal wear, or proof-like qualities can fetch modest premiums among collectors, especially those assembling complete Lincoln cent date and mint mark sets. Known varieties from 1976 include minor die cracks, double dies, and off-center strikes, all of which add unique interest and sometimes increased value. The presence of two coins side by side, as shown in your image, also allows for direct comparison of mint characteristics such as strike sharpness, color toning, and wear, key aspects that collectors assess when grading Lincoln cents. Culturally and historically, the 1976 Lincoln cent stands as a small yet significant emblem of American continuity and national pride. Even though it lacks the special bicentennial dual date, 1776 to 1976, design seen on other denominations, it circulated heavily during a year when Americans reflected on their revolutionary origins, political ideals, and democratic progress. Millions of these cents exchanged hands during parades, ceremonies, and celebrations marking 200 years of independence. For many Americans, this humble penny symbolized economic stability and everyday patriotism, connecting people across generations through the image of Lincoln, a figure synonymous with freedom, equality, and national unity. In summary, the 1976 United States Lincoln Memorial 1-cent coin is a copper-based piece that encapsulates both a personal tribute to Abraham Lincoln and a broader reflection of American identity during the bicentennial year. Designed by Victor David Brenner and Frank Asparo, it represents artistic continuity, national symbolism, and technical precision. With its familiar portrait, timeless mottos, and enduring material composition, the coin remains a tangible link between the ideals of the 18th century founders, the leadership of Lincoln in the 19th century, and the patriotic reflection of the 20th century bicentennial generation. For numismatists and historians alike, the 1976 Lincoln cent is not merely a small denomination of currency, but a miniature monument to American endurance and collective memory, forever preserved in copper. The United States of America 1-cent coin dated 1977D is part of the long-running Lincoln cent series, one of the most iconic and enduring coinage programs in American history. This coin, commonly known as the 1977 D. Lincoln cent, bears the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, and it was struck at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the small d mint mark located below the date on the obverse side. The 1977 D penny is composed primarily of 95% copper and 5% zinc, weighing 3.11 grams and measuring 19.05 millimeters in diameter. This composition remained standard for U.S. 1-cent coins until 1982, when the mint transitioned to a copper-plated zinc core to reduce costs due to rising copper prices. The 1977 D cent thus represents one of the last years of the traditional, solid copper Lincoln cents, making it historically significant for collectors who value the pre-1982 issues for their heavier metal content and deeper red hue. The obverse of the coin features the right-facing bust of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909, originally created to commemorate the centennial of Lincoln's birth. Brenner's design has endured longer than any other in U.S. coinage history, becoming a national symbol of integrity, freedom, and unity. The inscriptions on the obverse include the word liberty to the left of Lincoln's portrait, the motto, "In God We Trust," arching along the upper rim, and the date, 1977, with the D mint mark positioned just below it to the right. The coin's reverse displays the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth and created by Frank Asparo, the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint at the time. Above the memorial, the words United States of America appear boldly, while the national motto, E pluribus unum, out of many one, is centered above the monument. At the bottom of the reverse, the denomination 1 cent is inscribed, completing the balanced and symbolic layout. The 1977 D. Lincoln cent was produced in enormous quantities, approximately 4,149,062,300 coins, making it a common issue in circulation. This immense mintage reflects both the continued demand for pennies in American commerce and the Denver Mint's key role in mass coin production during the late 20th century. Although the 1977 D cent is abundant in circulated condition and worth only its face value in everyday use, uncirculated examples, especially those with full red luster and sharp strike, are of greater numismatic interest. Coins graded MS65 red or higher by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC can sell for a few dollars up to around $20 or more depending on their brilliance and lack of marks. Exceptional examples with pristine surfaces, vivid coloration, or special errors such as double dyes, off-center strikes, or repunched mint marks can fetch significantly higher prices among collectors. From a historical standpoint, the 1977 D penny was minted during a transformative period in American life, when the nation was recovering from the aftermath of the Vietnam War, facing economic challenges like inflation and rising commodity prices, and entering a new era of technological and cultural change. Coins from this decade mirror the enduring resilience of the United States and its people, much like Lincoln himself represented perseverance and unity during the Civil War. The Lincoln Memorial design also symbolizes the nation's dedication to the ideals Lincoln stood for: freedom, equality, and democracy, and serves as a small daily reminder of those principles. By 1977, the Lincoln cent had already circulated for nearly 7 decades, becoming more than mere currency. It was a cultural artifact found in every American's pocket, school desk, and coin jar. The Denver Mint's output that year maintained the consistency and quality expected of the U.S. mint system, contributing to the steady supply of coinage for the national economy. Though it is not a rare coin, the 1977 D1 cent piece remains a fascinating object of study for numismatists because it encapsulates the final era of solid copper cents, a key chapter in America's monetary and industrial history. Its reddish tone, tactile heft, and timeless portrait of Lincoln connect the holder to a broader story of American perseverance and evolution, from the early 20th century's commemorative artistry to the practical realities of 1970s economics. Collectors and historians alike view it as a bridge between eras, linking the copper-rich pennies of the past with the cost-efficient zinc coins of the modern age. In summary, the 1977 D. Lincoln cent is not merely a small copper coin but a miniature symbol of American heritage, representing over a century of coinage tradition, artistic design, and national identity preserved in a single penny next top. The 1971 United States of America 1 cent coin, commonly known as the Lincoln cent or Lincoln penny, represents one of the enduring symbols of American currency and heritage. Struck by the United States Mint, this coin carries not only monetary value but also deep historical and cultural significance, as it continues the long-running series that first began in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The 1971 penny was produced in large numbers at 3 mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S, each contributing millions of pieces to circulation. The obverse, or front side, features the classic right-facing portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, which has been used continuously since 1909. This design was the first time an actual historical figure appeared on regular U.S. coinage, breaking from earlier traditions of allegorical liberty figures. Above Lincoln's head appears the word, "In God We Trust," a testament to the nation's faith-based motto adopted during the Civil War era. To the left of the portrait, the word liberty symbolizes the core American value of freedom, and to the right, the date 1971 indicates the year of minting. If the coin bears a small D or S beneath the date, it was minted in Denver or San Francisco respectively. If there is no mint mark, it came from Philadelphia. The reverse side of the 1971 1-cent coin showcases the Lincoln Memorial, a majestic structure located in Washington, D.C., which has appeared on the reverse of the penny since 1959, replacing the original wheat ears design. The Lincoln Memorial reverse was created by Frank Gasparo, who was the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint at the time. The memorial is depicted in fine detail, and when viewed under magnification, one can even discern a tiny image of the seated statue of Abraham Lincoln inside the monument, an extraordinary touch that reflects the skill of U.S. Mint engravers. The inscriptions include United States of America along the upper rim and E pluribus unum, out of many one, a traditional motto signifying unity among the states. Below the memorial, the denomination 1 cent is boldly displayed, making the coin's value unmistakable even to the casual observer. The reverse design connects the coin to the ideals of democracy, unity, and respect for the nation's leaders. In terms of composition, the 1971 Lincoln cent continued to be made primarily of 95% copper and 5% zinc, a metallic formula used since 1962. The coin has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, a thickness of 1.52 millimeters, and a total weight of 3.11 grams. This copper composition gives the coin its distinctive reddish-brown hue when freshly struck, which gradually darkens to brown tones over time due to oxidation. Collectors often categorize these coins by their color grades: red, RD, red-brown, RB, or brown, BN, depending on how much of the original luster remains visible. Because copper reacts to its environment, finding a fully red, uncirculated 1971 penny can be challenging, especially over 50 years later. The 1971 penny was struck in immense numbers, over 1.9 billion at the Philadelphia Mint, more than 2.9 billion at Denver, and around 525 million proof coins at San Francisco. This makes it a common coin in circulation, though certain varieties and errors make specific pieces more valuable. Collectors look for notable varieties such as 1971 DOLLAR.U.S.A, DDO, in which the inscriptions Liberty and In God We Trust show visible doubling caused by die misalignment during minting. These rare double die errors can be quite valuable, especially in high grades. Additionally, proof coins from the San Francisco Mint, distinguished by their deep mirrored surfaces and sharp detail, were made specifically for collectors and often stored in protective cases, which preserve their condition over the decades. Economically, the 1 cent coin in 1971 had far more purchasing power than today. A single penny could buy small candies. Postage stamps cost only 8 cents, and the average American home sold for around $25,000. Yet, even as inflation eroded its practical use, the penny remained a symbol of thrift and continuity. The coin circulated widely during the presidency of Richard Nixon, a time of social change, the Vietnam War, and economic adjustment in the United States. In that context, the Lincoln cent, bearing the image of a president remembered for uniting the nation during its darkest hour, served as a daily reminder of endurance and national purpose. Numismatically, the 1971 Lincoln cent holds modest value in circulated condition, usually equal to its face value. However, uncirculated and proof examples in pristine condition can attract collector interest. A mint state, MS, 65 RD, specimen might fetch between $1 and $5, while top-graded proofs can command higher premiums, especially those certified by grading authorities like PCGS or NGC. The double die obverse variety, on the other hand, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on sharpness and condition, making it one of the most sought-after modern penny errors. From a historical and cultural standpoint, the 1971 penny is more than just small change. It's a piece of living American history. Every detail, from Brenner's iconic portrait to Gasparo's detailed memorial, encapsulates themes of leadership, freedom, and unity that define the American spirit. Though the value of a penny may have diminished in the modern economy, its symbolism endures. Each 1971 cent, whether tucked away in an old jar or displayed in a collector's album, carries with it the legacy of Abraham Lincoln and over a century of national progress. The survival of these coins in such great numbers also demonstrates the U.S. Mint's efficiency and the enduring trust Americans have placed in their currency system. For historians and numismatists alike, the 1971 United States 1 cent coin remains a fascinating relic of mid-20th century America, a simple, copper token of enduring ideals and everyday history.